Uh, before we before we start, I'd like to pass the mic to Nadia Manzano to open us up in prayer. Nadia?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Fleur, and welcome to everyone who has joined us this evening. We are excited to have everybody here with us. Of course, we want to make sure the presence of the Lord is in everything that we do. So if we can take a moment, bow our heads, and get ready to have our opening prayer. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for bringing each and every person under the sound of my voice into this Zoom room with us. Today we're celebrating International Women's Day. We're celebrating women who have made some significant impact in the world, and we as women stand strong together. Today, we as WRAPTT, we're coming together to educate the community on entrepreneurship, on business, and we ask that you become in our presence so that we can feel your spirit in the room. We ask that you anoint this event and make sure that anybody who's under the sound of my voice is blessed and able to receive the messages that's coming from each and every one of the presenters. Again, we thank you for being a part of this event, and we are asking that we have a successful event today. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. And I'll pass it over to you, Fleur.
Amen. And thank you so much for that, Nadia. We always need blessings on everything that we do, right?
Amen.
So, again, for those of you who are just joining us, my name is Fleur Calendar, and I will be your host for this incredible event this evening. I know that at this time, you could have chosen to be anywhere else, but you've chosen to spend the evening with us, and I'm really honored to guide you along the agenda for this evening. Today, we gathered to celebrate the achievements of women and share knowledge and accelerate action for women of the Trinidad and Tobago diaspora. This year's theme for this incredible event, WRAPTT's 2025 Women's History Month celebration, is Accelerate Action, hashtag Accelerate Action, highlighting the power of collective efforts to forge a more inclusive environment where women can feel empowered to be their authentic self and bring their full selves to the table. Before we begin the agenda, I want to give you a brief history of WRAPTT. So let's take a moment to acknowledge this incredible organization that actually brought us here together today. The Women's Roundtable Action Platform of Trinidad and Tobago, better known as WRAPTT, or belovedly known as WRAPTT, was founded in June 2020 under the guidance of His Excellency, retired Brigadier General Anthony Philip Spencer, the Ambassador of Trinidad and Tobago. WRAPTT is a dynamic, not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to connecting, engaging, and empowering women in the Trinidad and Tobago diaspora, both locally and globally. Through mentorship, education, networking, and access to opportunities, WRAPTT supports the personal and professional growth of women of Trinidad and Tobago. With a vision of building a powerful network of professional women who advocate for change and inspire excellence, WRAPTT continues to create spaces where women can uplift each other and inspire growth, grace, greatness in the women of Trinidad and Tobago and worldwide. And it is with this heart of service and love for our beautiful nation that we commit to this service in this capacity. Now, tonight, we celebrate Women's History Month. We honor the achievements of remarkable women. And you'll see from our speakers that we have lined up that we're reaffirming our commitment to unite and uplift the untapped potential that lies within every woman of the diaspora and every woman that's here this evening. Thank you for being part of this journey, and I am happy to guide you along the way and be your host tonight. So let's have some fun tonight and engage in the empowering sessions that our three remarkable presenters, all of whom in their own rights have are impressive examples of the model that WRAPTT exists in. So again, let's have some fun, let's learn something and take away some good nuggets. So just before we start the agenda, there are a few housekeeping rules. We ask that you please keep your microphones on mute during the event. We want to make sure that there's no disturbance for the speakers. But you are welcome to put your cameras on. We're all a family here, and we would love to see your beautiful faces. So if you desire, please feel free to put your cameras on. If you have any questions for any of our speakers, drop them in the chat and we'll tackle them during the Q&A session of each presentation. This session is being recorded, so if you need to step away, you'll have access to it later. So just be aware that it is being recorded. So with that, I want to introduce our first speaker, right? Our first speaker is, you just heard from her, but you didn't hear her full title. This is Dr. Nadia Manzano, I'm sorry. She's a leader in professional networking and career success. She will be sharing insights on network for success, and that's a powerful tool for advancing in any industry. So let me read a little bit of her bio so that you can get to know Dr. Nadia a little bit more. In the bustling world of entrepreneurship and relentless pursuit of excellence, Dr. Nadia Manzano stands out as a towering figure of inspiration and innovation. Dr. Manzano is an award-winning graphic designer and business coach. She shows entrepreneurs how to establish a solid foundation when starting their business. Dr. Nadia Manzano is also an accomplished 12-time international best-selling author, marketing and branding specialist, and a retired veteran staff sergeant with 10 years of service in the U.S. Army. During her military service, Dr. Manzano served one tour in Iraq and earned the prestigious Iraq Freedom Medal of Honor. Following her retirement from the Army, Dr. Manzano began working in the medical field as a program director in corporate America. Dr. Manzano received the Woman of Heart and Presidential Lifetime Achievement Awards, and she is also the co-chair of the Women's Roundtable Action Platform of Trinidad and Tobago, better known as WRAPTT. So with that, let me introduce you to Dr. Nadia Manzano. Nadia?
I was like, wait, she's reading about me. Oh my goodness, right? Good evening, everyone. Let me just remove you really quickly. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. And as mentioned by Fleur, thank you so much for that introduction. I am the co-chair of the Women's Roundtable Action Platform of Trinidad and Tobago, hence my accent, right? I am from Trinidad and Tobago as well, the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. And I am here today to talk about networking for your business. I am sure that there are some entrepreneurs in this room this evening with us, and we know that the rise to success in in your business, I should say, not just organization, is networking. Networking is going to be the key to the success of your business. So I've put together a quick presentation of the different types of networking and why we should be networking in our business and how to network successfully in your business. So let me share my screen now. Of course, please, if you run across any questions that you may have for me, of course, drop them in the chat. And Fleur is going to field those questions to me so that I can answer those questions for you. So no question should be unanswered as you leave out of this room today. Okay, so again, thank you all so much for being here. Let me just go ahead and share my screen so that we can get into this presentation. And Fleur, can you just give me a okay if you're able to see my presentation, please?
No, right now we're seeing a black screen. Now it's up.
Now it's up. Okay. Technology, guys, technology, right? It works slower than we want it to do. Okay. So today we're talking about networking for success. How can you expand your business through strategic connections? So relationships are the currency of business, right? So 85% of businesses deals are influenced by who knows you, right? So strategic networking leads to referrals, partnerships, and growth and opportunities. The key word I want you to pull out of this particular slide is strategic networking, right? Who should you actually network with to make sure that your business is successful? Okay, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that through our slides. Let's see if my enter key would work. Here we go. So the first thing I want you to understand is your mindset. You're going to have to shift your mindset. You have to be intentional when networking. Networking isn't just about handing out your business cards at different events that you go to, okay? It's about building meaningful, mutual, and beneficial relationships. And always remember, your network is your net worth. I'm sure you all have heard that before, right? Building a proper network that you can let know about your business is your net worth. And what do I mean about building meaningful relationships? It's not going to be a one and done thing when you meet someone, right? Not just handing them your business card and hoping that they're going to call you the next day. So in a couple other of my slides, I'm going to actually teach you about how can you build these meaningful relationships. But it all begins with your mindset. You have to be able to know that your business is worth building, right? You didn't just start your business to fail. You started your business to be successful. So you have to be able to shift your mindset into a successful way where you know that you're building this business for success. So let's define your networking goals. You have to know what you want. Do you want new clients? Do you want partnerships? Do you want to be a mentor? Or do you want to network for visibility? So you need to be able to write down your top 3 networking goals for the next 6 months. Again, strategically planning out your networking goals is going to help you be successful in your business. And I'm going to teach you a couple of slides later about how you can start networking for success. So have you ever heard of your elevator pitch? I know some of us, as entrepreneurs, we often hear about your elevator pitch. Do you realize you have about 30 seconds when you get introduced to someone to actually sell yourself and sell your business? They don't want to know the year your business got started and all those different things, right? You have to be strategic in the first meetup when you meet someone. So you have to create and craft a concise 30 seconds compelling intro to your business. What should be a part of that compelling message? Focus on who you help, how you help them, and what impact does your business make. So for example, I'm going to give you my 30-second intro speech. Hello, I am Dr. Nadia Manzano. The name of my company is Elite Creations. I help small business owners show up online professionally and we brand their business like a boss. Can I introduce you? Can I get you to schedule a quick consultation with me so I can help you brand your business like a boss? 30 seconds. You know exactly what I do, how I do it, and the call to action is I want you to schedule a consultation with me right away. Okay, so think of yourself going into networking events. You don't have a lot of time when you have to go from person to person to person. So I want you to think about, as I'm going through this presentation, if you are an entrepreneur, I want you to sit for a minute as I'm speaking and write down your 30-second intro speech. What does your business do? Who does it help? And what impact does your business have? And of course, if you need help, we're always here to help you. Okay? So again, like I said, attending industry events regularly, whether you're internationally or here in the US, there's always a networking meetup. Aim for at least 1 to 2 per month. I know we, as women, I know we have busy schedules. Lord knows we are wives, we are mothers, we are doctors. Sometimes I feel like I'm the doctor in the house to take care of anything that's going on, right? So again, I understand that we live some busy, busy lives. There's a lot of people that depend on us, especially if we're entrepreneurs as well, right? We have clients that depend on us. But one of the things you have to do when investing in your business is visibility. Visibility meaning you have to go out and network in the community. Always look up for events. So if you're example, if you're in the US, we have Eventbrite. Eventbrite is a perfect place that you can go onto and find networking events, okay, in your area. If you're internationally as well, because I know I have some people who are international as well, there are events internationally as well. And if there isn't, guess what? Create a platform for one, right? Your business should be creating a platform so that we as entrepreneurs can come and network with each other. So if you notice that is a need in your community, you should be able to start one yourself. And then, of course, research relevant conferences, expos, or local business mixers again in your area. You have to be visible with your business in order to be successful. You cannot just sit in front of the computer and go on social media, post about your business, and then run, right? You have to be also visible within your community. And this is a top one. Follow up within 48 hours, right? You're going to go to these mixers and you're going to get to know these people and you're going to collect business cards. And if you are like me, I have a digital business card as well. So I'm able to, import personnel's information within my phone. But guess what? We can't just have it in the phone, right? Having it in the phone or having that tangible business card does not mean that we're networking with the people. You have to be able to send a personalized message or an email after that networking event. And when you're sending that email or that text message just to say, hey, it was so nice to meet you, mention something specific from that conversation that resonated with both of you guys. Right. So, for example, whenever I'm sending a text message to say, hey, we met at such and such a mixer. I am Dr. Manzano, just following up with you to see if we can get time to schedule that consultation so I can help you brand your business. Did you still need some assistance? Right? So making sure that you mention something specific at the event that you guys you met at, right? Or I was the person with the red earrings, right? And you complimented me very well. So thank you so much for that compliment. Now I would love to see if we have some time to put some time on our calendar so that we can start doing business together. So always mention something about the event so it resonates with the person where they meet you. Because again, at a networking mixer, you're going to be meeting a lot of people. So don't just tell me Dr. Nadia Mansano, right? Dr. Nadia Mansano from which event? Because I went to several, right? So making sure you mention something about that event and again, suggest a coffee chat or a Zoom call. Let's get something on the calendar so that we can talk. Action items. Every time you interact with that person, it's an action item that you have to give them. Get booked on my calendar. Can we go to coffee? Do you want to schedule a Zoom? Give them something that they have to say, yes, let me meet with you. Okay? And sharing your knowledge. Remember, I talked about if you notice in your area you don't have networking mixes enough or anything like that, host a workshop. Okay, host a webinar. Invite other entrepreneurs that you know of. Listen, let's join together and let's have a webinar. I can talk about this, you can talk about that, and let's invite our network to come together and we can share our knowledge together. Purpose of workshops, purpose of webinars, right? Get yourself visible by speaking at events and podcasts so that you position yourself as an authority. So, for example, for myself, I always get on podcasts to talk about business, entrepreneurship, branding. So one of the tasks that I want to give you guys today is also, I want you to go on your social media page after this event. Of course, don't leave the Zoom room yet. Okay, I'm not finished teaching you. But I want you to go on your social media page after this event, and I want you to put a post that says, describe me in one word. Describe me in one word. And I want you to see what your followers on your social media pages, right, can tell you about you. Because if I go right now to my social media page and I say, describe me in one word, most people are going to say, you know how to brand businesses. You know how to make us show up online professionally. You are a graphic designer. Those are the things that I am known for. And if you don't know what you're known for, that is a way to what? Test your market, test your audience to see. Now, do you have to do something to fix what people are saying about you? So always use market research as well, right? And using market research is going to help you to expand on your business or what needs to be done within your business. So if you like, you can definitely follow me on social media. That's normally at the end, but I want you guys to tag me, Nadia Manzano, on social medias. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I want you to put that, and I want to see exactly what people say about you and your business. Now you have to be a connector, not be a connection, I should say, not just a collector. So you shouldn't be the person just always collecting all this information, right? You should be able to introduce people in your network to each other. For example, on my website at Elite Creations, I have a business women's directory, right? And you can go onto my directory and you can find authors, speakers, coaches, therapists, any one of those fields on my directory. Why do I do that? Because I am not the therapist, I am not the doctor, things of that nature, right? So I want to be able to introduce people to each other. So I'm not just a person collecting all of this information or collecting all of these leads, right? Just for myself. I actually take that information. I created a directory, but you can also do something similar, right? Send out emails like, hey, I just met this person, and I think they will be able to help you with whatever problem you need solving, right? So you need to offer value without expecting anything in return at the same time, right? So not because I said, Fleur meet Arlene, and both of them have something that, would help each other's business, that doesn't mean I'm expecting both of them to pour into my business as well. I just know that I connected them together because of the network that I'm building. But guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to come back to me and say, hey, Nadia, thank you for connecting me with Fleur. Can I be part of your directory? Because you know what? I actually found some great people on your directory as well, right? So offer value as well, and don't just be the collector, be the connector as well. And then, of course, asking for introductions. Don't be afraid to ask your current contacts, again, do you know anyone who does X, Y, and Z? Warm introductions are 5 times more effective than cold outreaches. And that's the perfect example that I just gave you guys, where I said to Fleur, go meet Arlene, because I've already done business with Arlene. She's an amazing coach, and I think she'll be best to suit what need you need, what problem you have to get solved, right? So always give those warm introductions, because it's just like giving testimonials, right? I don't know about you, but whenever I go to look and do business with anyone, guess what I do? I go Google, I do research, I make sure I understand that they can fit my business. But if someone comes to me and says, hey, Nadia, I worked with such and such and they did an amazing job for me, I'm going to use that person, right? Because I got that referral from that person. So always know that don't be afraid to ask your circle or your businesses, do they know of anyone that does what you're looking for, what problem you're looking to solve? Another tip that I want to give you, of course, join a mastermind or a networking group. There are several groups online, whether it's at your local chamber of commerce or online communities that will allow you to be a part of the community and network with them. For example, Elite Creations, we do have networking events as well. And coming soon with WRAPTT, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, right? We're going to be trying to network with each other and build each other because I'm not just building US, we want to build internationally as well because sometimes some of our businesses can help women internationally as well. Okay. And of course, consistency, building consistency and showing up regularly at these networking events is going to help you build your network and build your business. This is very important. Tracking your networking ROI. ROI means return on investment, right? So you're going to be paying to go to these networking events, things of that nature, right? So you need to be able to show, um, my apologies. You need to be able to show that I went to this event and I paid, $50 to join this networking event, right? So, what is my return on my investment? Did I meet enough people to say, yes, my investment for $50 really returned because I made connections with the right people, and these people are now my clients, my customers, right? So making sure that you are tracking your networking return of investment. Keep a simple spreadsheet or a CRM, which means sometimes your website can be your CRM. If you don't have a website, make sure that is something that you are planning on getting for your business. But you need somewhere to track who you met, what qualities do they have that is going to be an asset to your business? And most importantly, when are you going to follow up with this person? And from my previous slides, within, and I should tell everybody to me, but don't, within 48 hours, at least minimum, right? Normally I tell my clients 24, but don't go past 48 hours without following up with the people that you met at these events. And measure which events or platform leads to real business growth so you know where your target market or where your audience is, right? So making sure you're able to measure which events and which platforms leads to your business growth. And my final thoughts, okay? Networking is a long game. The best relationships are built on trust and consistency. Take action consistently, and opportunities will find you, right? Showing up consistently and being visible with your business is going to help build your business trust, and people will want to continue and start doing business with you. So, my call to action for you listening to me today, I would like you to pick 3 action items and commit to doing them this week. I'm an action taker, right? I like to make sure that I have, and Audrey is going to come in soon and talk about goals, right? You have to be able to set strategic to-do lists and goals each and every week in your business. So I want you to pick 3 action items. Are you going to go to a networking event? Are you going to host a webinar? Are you going to go online and join a Facebook or LinkedIn group that's about networking? Or at least book one networking event. April is getting ready to get started. We are wrapping up March, right? So April is getting ready to get started, and I want you to promise yourself that you will attend at least one networking event. And when you're going to that event, I want you to have that 30-second elevator speech down pat. Practice it over and over and over again until you memorize it so well that when you stand in front of someone, you will be able to recite it and they will know exactly what your business does and they will want to do business with you. So let networking be a part of your growth strategy, not just a side task. Thank you. So let me stop sharing here. Hopefully you all found that presentation to be insightful. And Fleur, I'm going to spotlight you or add you with me just in case the audience or you have any questions for me.
Yeah. Well, first off, I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Manzano, for those valuable insights. I've been jotting down a bunch of little nuggets here for myself. Um, and I feel like I can share it with the group real quickly.
Of course.
But one of the things that you mentioned was shift your mindset. Your network is your net worth. Define your networking goals. So have a top three list of your networking goals, and planning is key. Your elevator pitch is crucial. 30 seconds to sell yourself. Attending events, following up within 48 hours, sharing your knowledge, being a collector and not being a collector and not just wait. Maybe
Connection
I got that
and a
one wrong.
collector.
A
Yeah.
connector, being a connector and not just a
A
collector,
collector.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Ask for introductions, join networking groups, track your networking. And networking is a long-term thing, right? It's not short-term. So remember your call to actions. Pick 3 action items this week and work on that 30-second elevator speech. So I want to just encourage the audience to put questions in the chat. I'm not sure if I'm seeing any just yet for Dr. Monsoon, but I do have some pre questions that I can ask you a couple, right?
Of course.
So the first question that I have here is, what's one common mistake people make when trying to build their network, and how can it be avoided?
Following up. I don't know about you. I had to learn how to follow up with the people that I met the day before or at a networking event. I will collect so many business cards, or I will put so many people's information in my phone. And it'll be a week or two later. That's what I used to do. Now we know better, right? Now we know better because Dr. Nadia Mansano said follow up within 24 to 48 hours, right? So that you don't lose that connection. But following up is going to be the key to the success of your business and not procrastinate. Like, oh, I wonder if the person's going to remember me. I don't know. Mm-mm. Mindset shift, right? Stop putting all these negative thoughts in your head. Send a question, send a follow-up, right? Thank the person for meeting them. But start the conversation after you've met the person within 24 to 48 hours.
I think that is critical as well. And with technology as it is now, it makes it even easier to
Yep,
follow up real quickly within those 48 hours. Um,
absolutely.
Most people have a LinkedIn profile, so that's the first thing that I go to.
Yep.
When I meet someone for the first time, I ask them, "Hey, are you on LinkedIn? Let's connect." So that's another nugget to use as well. I have another question here. I'm still not seeing any in the chat,
Oh, I
but I
think
have another
Avril just
question
sent
for
you
you.
one. I think Avril just sent it to
Oh,
you.
she did? Okay. Uh, so Avril, I am not seeing the technical difficulty here, but I'm not seeing the
No worries. I can go to the.
On WhatsApp. Would you like me to share it?
Yes.
yeah, sure.
So this person says, I'm not the most confident person. What strategies help you with building confidence and appearing more confident as I connect?
Can you believe I'm an introvert person? I want to sit in a quiet room If I can sit in a quiet room by myself and not have to speak to no one, that is the best day of my life. I'm going to be real transparent. I am an introvert person, but I'm an introvert person who knows how to operate in an extrovert world. When you are a business owner, you cannot be shy about your business. What helped me was again practicing my elevator speech so that when I went to speak to someone, I knew exactly what it is that I was going to say and when I was going to say it. Okay. Understanding that practicing before you go and face someone is going to help you. Okay. Oh, got it. So oh, sorry, I saw something in the chat that threw me off just a bit. But practicing your elevator speech, going to networking events. Those are the things that are going to start helping you build confidence in going and exposing your business to other people. Okay. Even if you go to a networking event and you're just passing out your cards and you're just saying hi at the time, get a feel for what these networking events are, right? Don't just sit at home and say, I'm too shy. I'm not confident enough. I think I'm going to be scared. Practice your elevator speech. Trust me, is going to get you into some rooms. And one of the things I always tell my clients is when you walk into a room, any room, I don't care if it's a board of directors room, if it's a networking event room, I want you to walk into that room with confidence and your head held high. No one has to know that you are scared to be in that room. Sometimes when I go for speaking engagements, nervous, butterflies in my stomach. But I'm walking in that room so confident, and everyone is going to be like, oh, yeah, she knows exactly what she's talking about. But my palms are sweaty and I'm nervous. But once you get a feel for doing these things over and over and over again and practicing over and over again, you will get confident. Trust me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mansoon. One of the things that I do is ask myself, what do I have to lose,
There you
and
go.
what do I have to gain?
There you go.
Right. So that sometimes put things in perspective for me. I have another question for you from the audience.
Mhm.
Is there any way a person can overshare on the first meeting?
Yes, 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 yes. Remember when I said earlier, when you are like at networking events or you meet somebody for the first time, I don't want you to talk about, oh, my business started in 2020 during the pandemic, and in the pandemic, I had to do this and I pivoted within my business and I did. No. You're oversharing information, right? You only have a short attention span or a short few minutes with that person to capture them, right? And capture their interest in you and your business. Now, again, when you have that second meeting and you put something on the calendar and it's on the books, so we're getting ready to meet to try to do business with each other, I can tell you how I pivoted in my business and how I'm being successful now. But the very first time you meet that person that you want to do business with, straight to the point so that you can do a call to action to get them to have a private moment with you.
Great insight. Thank you so much, Nadia, Dr. Mansano. I am so proud of the information and just this event, how it's going at the moment. I'm not seeing any additional questions in the chat. So at this moment, I'd just like to say thank you so much. Thank you for delivering an awesome presentation. And we will be working on that elevator pitch. I know me personally, I'll be sprucing up mine.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Of
again.
course. And again, my challenge to the audience who's listening, right? Make sure you can drop some things in our chat, right? Let's see how you're coming along with your elevator speech. So that's my call to action. We got a couple hours together. Let's see who can come up with a good elevator speech. But thank you guys so much. I hope this information was insightful. And I hope you all have learned some things about networking for the success of your business. And again, happy International Women's Month. enjoy ourselves because we do a lot as women. So celebrate and love on yourself, not just for March, right? But all the time because we do a lot for our families. Thank you. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. And of course, enjoy the rest of our presentation. Trust me, we have some great speakers coming up. Thank you again, Fleur, for being a host.
Thank you so much. And so, with that, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. And our next speaker is Arlene Hamblin Paul, who will guide us through some key strategies for goal setting. And just a little background on Arlene. Um, Let me see if I can pull that up right now. I'll read her bio off to you because it's a very impressive one as well. Mrs. Arlene Hamblin Paul has 30 years of educator experience. This includes primary, tertiary, and professional education and emergency medical services. In 2003, Mrs. Hamblin Paul graduated from LaGuardia Community College in New York, earning her New York State paramedic certification and her national registration certification. Upon her return to Trinidad and Tobago, she became the first female Trinidadian paramedic to work in Trinidad and Tobago. She has lectured in Cipriani College of Labor and Corporate Studies and the University of the West Indies. Her areas of studies include emergency medical services, psychology, sociology, criminology, criminal justice, and education. That's a mouthful. Mrs. Hamblin Paul is an advocate for youth, and in 2009, she founded the organization Anointed Sons International. And this is an organization that's focused on development of at-risk male youth. As the visionary, Mrs. Hamblin Paul has spearheaded several initiatives both in the community as well as the Youth Transformation and Rehabilitation Center. She has written articles and presented at conferences highlighting the issues affecting youth. Mrs. Hamblin Paul is a consultant and a career coach and is the owner of EdCom Educators, an education consultancy company. She has served on several boards in Trinidad and Tobago and is the recipient of the U.S. National Registry recognition for her 20 years dedicated service in the field. Let's welcome Mrs. Arlene Hamblin Paul. Arlene?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for that introduction. And while you were reading the bio, I was asking myself, that person has no life. You know, the number of things that they've done, they have no life. But God is good, you know, He gives us grace for our process. So this evening, I'm going to share with you on goal setting. How many of us have goals? Put a one in the chat if you have a goal. Put a one in the chat if you have a goal. Let's see the ones in the chat if you have a goal. Beautiful, beautiful. If you have a goal. So, Dr. Manzana just spoke about networking for success. And so you're thinking, right, all these things to do. So what I'm coming in here to do is just to guide you as to how to set your goals. Because in order to achieve all that she spoke about, you have to visualize, you have to set those goals. So our focal points today, we're going to talk about what is your why set goals, types of goals, be smart, and our goal achievement system. How many of us know that we have to have a system? We need a system in order to progress effectively. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take charge. We're here today to celebrate International Women's Day and by extension, Women's History Month. And we as women have been taking charge. So we're just going to continue in that motion. Some of us, it's an uphill battle. As you see in my little picture there, it's an uphill battle. We're climbing, but we are taking charge. So this evening, let's get into it. What is the first thing we're going to ask ourselves? What is your why? How many of us are in businesses or in workplaces, and sometimes you get a little despondent and you ask yourself, what is your why? That just means, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why am I at this point? Is it promotion or academic advancement? If you're in a job, some of us have been in jobs 15, 16, 17, 20, 25 years. And we think that our promotions have been slow in coming. So what we do, we decide, okay, it's time for a promotion. I need a promotion. You have to set a goal. Within what time? What am I going to do? What is the process? And a little later on, we're going to talk about process goals. Is it academic advancement? For academic advancement, there needs to be a step-by-step process. You have to select your area. You have to understand firstly, what is your why? Why am I doing this? Do I want to spend the rest of my working life in a particular profession, in a particular business? Is it because it's an earner? Is it just an income earner? Or have I found purpose? And I want to just take a minute here to speak a little bit about purpose. A lot of us go into professions probably because the subjects we chose at school, the courses we did at college, it drives us in a particular direction. But how many of us really do that introspection as to how did we get to that point? Why did we choose that area of work? Why did we choose that area of study? Just here, I just want to stop to give you this little story about myself. I loved teaching. Since I was a little girl, my mother would ask me, what were you doing? I would put, for those of you in the local context of Trinidad and Tobago, I would put copybooks on the chair and I would be the teacher. There are no other students. The students were imaginary and I would do the work. Some would be correct, some would be incorrect. And of course, if you got your work incorrect, there would be some spanking happening there. And I would play that game throughout, never really realizing when I got older and I stepped into the realm of education, I realized this was purpose. And so today, what I want some of you to do is start reflecting. What did you do as a child or throughout your growth process that comes natural and easy to you, and that will take you into purpose? You want to change that profession. So I straddle two professions. I straddle EMS and I straddle the world of social sciences, which is careers, sociology, psychology, criminology. I straddle two areas. And I remember someone saying to me, how would you merge the two? And I felt so passionate about EMS. When I completed my paramedic program, I was really passionate about it. And then I felt that I wanted to do more for people. So I decided to study in the area of psychology, which led me to sociology, and then a call into the youth of society, which took me into criminology and criminal justice with a focus on youth. And when I got the vision for my business, Edcom Educators, in 2008, that's when it all started to come together. So my field of EMS and my field of social sciences came together under one umbrella to provide consultancy service and even facilitate workshops for various organizations. So I did have that switch in profession along the way. And it's a story that is coming in a book, hint, hint. I did have that change in profession, but there was a burning desire that led me to that change. Embarking upon entrepreneurship. How many of us have embarked upon our entrepreneurship journey? Put a 2 in the chat, entrepreneurship. How many entrepreneurs we have in the room? Just put a 2 in the chat for me if you've embarked upon your entrepreneurship journey. Or you're thinking about your entrepreneurship journey. Lucky, right, nice, great, awesome, lots of folks. Right, so what I want you to do now is take 2 minutes, scan the QR code, and you can look in the chat. There's a link, menti.com, and a code you can enter, or you can scan the QR code, get in there, and I want you to choose which area appeals to you. You'll see the question, choose the area that appeals to you. We have 2 minutes. If anyone is having any challenges, please let me know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch screens. I'm going to show you in real time the results of the poll. It's anonymous, but you will see the actual results. We have about 20 seconds left. Right. So we see here, what is your why? Right. So we can see what the results are. We have 58% of the persons embarking upon an entrepreneurship journey. So that means Dr. Mansona's presentation was spot on. We have 25% a change in profession and 17% are saying that they want a promotion or academic advancement. And with those results, what we're gonna look at this evening in terms of goal setting, it applies to all the areas. Every single area that we presented on there that was shown in that slide, we're gonna deal with that. Why set goals? Why do we set goals? We set goals because they give us something. They help us to get direction. It provides direction. When you set goals, you have a framework within which to operate. Dr. Manzano spoke about going to a networking event. So it's not just going to the networking event or choosing a networking event. That's the start of it. So she gave you the start. How are we going to direct ourselves? What is the first thing we need to do? We need to establish where we look. She gave us a place to look. Eventbrite, depends on where you are. You look in your local area. You try to establish what are the events available, and then you get into actually networking. So there are steps there, and that's your process. You can also set a date by which that's a goal date. So by the 15th of April, I must have found 5 places. And by the 20th of April, I may have chosen 1. And that's your progress goals happening there. It inspires and motivates. For those of you who are familiar with the word, it says, write it down and make it plain. So you have your goals written and you have them on vision boards. And we'll talk about that a little later on. And it's before you. And so having them before you inspires you. When you see the visual, when you see it written down, it inspires you to keep going. On days when you feel tired or you have a lull in business, what helps you to keep going? The fact that you have a goal, you set a goal and you said, by the end of April, I am going to attend a networking event, and you keep going. For me, I read the book Atomic Habits, and I like to tell people about, I don't know James Clear, but I tell persons it's a beautiful book to read. And in the book, he speaks about rewarding yourself, motivating yourself to achieve your goals. And he has a glass jar concept. The glass jar concept speaks about you putting money in a jar for achieving whatever goal you set. For me, I am moving so much, so I have a goal of reading every day. And I put money in a jar. And when I look at the jar on my desk, that's me. It reminds me, hey, you have not read anything for the day, and a minimum of 10 minutes. So here I have a goal, and I have the motivation and the inspiration, which is to get the money in the jar, because at the end of it, the money is going to be a reward for me. Measures progress. It helps you to measure progress. Yeah? So you're measuring that progress throughout your journey. It measures the progress and, of course, eventually the success. And as I said, my reward for my success for reading would be, at the end of it, I treat myself to something. Building confidence. It helps you to build confidence. As you continue to look at it and you move closer to your goals step by step, every day, it helps you to gain that confidence in yourself. It gives you that, that reinforcement and belief in your abilities to really achieve and that courage to keep going. Because as I said before, some days will not be the best days. So we have types of goals. What are our types of goals? We have process, performance, and outcome goals. What is a process goal? Self-explanatory. A process goal really takes us through a step by step. So, example of a process goal. I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of June. What's the process to that? Okay, firstly, I need to start to exercise. How many days a week do I want to exercise? So first goal, start exercise. So I find the means by which I want to exercise. How many days a week I want to assign to exercising? I want to assign 3 days a week going to the gym, one of which includes cardio. So here I have a goal. I started the process. I gave it a number. Okay, so we're going through. How are we going to measure that progress? Performance. How are we measuring that the process is going well through our performance? Am I attending the gym 3 days a week? Am I doing that cardio that I'm supposed to do? And we can go further into that and say we want to do cardio for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. So we have our process, we built the process, and we're measuring our performance. And performance is usually measured by a number, a numeric. Okay, I'm going 3 times. Okay, I want to lose 5 pounds. So you measure as you go along and you say, okay, I've lost 2, I've lost 6, you go along and you measure. And of course, the end of June will be the outcome goal. Have I lost the weight that I wanted to lose at the end of June? Be smart. How many of us have heard smart before? I'm sure. Lots of us. Put a 3 in the chat if you've heard smart. Specific. What is specific? Being specific. Fine. So I said I want to lose, let's say 10 pounds, 5 pounds by the end of June. So I'm specific. The goal is clearly defined, measurable. Usually a quantity, as I said, it's usually time, it's usually numeric, so it's quantifiable. Achievable, realistic based on your skills and resources. What do I have? Do I have the access to the gym 3 days a week? Am I able to get there in time so that I can get half an hour cardio done on the treadmill? So is it achievable? So we want to set goals that don't depress us. What happens sometimes in goal setting? We set goals that are beyond, and it becomes hard, and that's when we fall off. But we want to do our SMART evaluation before we set out on our goal process. Relevant. It should align with your overall objective. Losing weight, going to the gym. Is it aligned? Yes, it is. Time bound. We set a time frame. We said at the end of June. So a SMART analysis is something really, really easy to do. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Right. And so I did a little something here, just a draft. So when you're writing it down, if you're a writer like I am, you can use a little table, goal, action, timeline. Attain my BSc in psychology. And this is, we just put some of the actions, which is really the process. Improve my 5K time to sub 30 by August 2024. That was an actual goal for me, and I did achieve that goal before August 2020. So that was an actual goal. And so you have timelines. So on April 30th to May 15th, what am I doing? May 15th to August. So you have timelines that will help you. And you can do this for your goals. You get your goals identified, and then you separate them, and you can use this process. Put the plan on paper. How are we getting started? So after all is said and done, we put the plan on paper. Ask, is the plan aligned with your God-ordained purpose? I started by speaking about purpose and how I myself realized that I had found purpose. Ask yourself this, is the plan in line with your God-ordained purpose? As I said before, you don't want to be frustrated. You don't want to be in a position where you start something, and I call it the curse of non-completion. There are persons who have started so many things and have fallen off along the way, and that's because they did not ask themselves the question about the God-ordained purpose. Do you have the knowledge and expertise? So you want to start a business. Dr. Manzano spoke about that, networking for success. Do you have the knowledge and expertise for the business you want to go into or currently are in? Do you need to get some additional qualifications? Do you need to get an accountability partner? Do you need to get a coach that will take you through the initial stages to get you started? Do you have the finance? Whether it's academic, whether it's a business, do you have the finance needed for that particular goal? Is there a market for your skill? That's a key. And Dr. Manzano alluded to it. Look at the market. How are we gauging ourselves in terms of career, profession, entrepreneurship with the markets? Are there avenues whereby we can promote? Is there a niche we can find? There's always a niche, but that's another topic. There's always a niche market, but you have to find it. So you have to ask yourself, is there a market for your skill? And how can you utilize skills transferably? In the HR realm, they talk about transferable skills. So it may not be a direct skill, but the skills that you have, how can it be translated? And I want to say to you this evening in closing, invest in yourself. It pays the best interest. So after all is said and done, invest in yourself. It pays the best interest. Invest time, invest your energy, invest the effort, and of course, your financial investment. Whatever you need, the expertise and resources, invest in yourself. And so you can put your questions in the chat, and I am open for questions. Over to you.
Amazing. That was just so incredible, and so many, again, good nuggets to that I took points on. Just a quick recap. Focal points. What is it? Why? Why am I doing this thing? Why am I here? What is my purpose? Why set goals? And what types of goals? And I know, Arlene, you emphasize taking charge, and I think that's a key first step, right? Making that decision to put yourself first and take charge, right? Because this is what you do. Right? This is what you can handle yourself. So appreciate that. And you mentioned about vision boards, and I remember reading something somewhere where they said that when you write something down, it connects to your brain, and your brain actually flags that you have something to do. So writing down your purpose or writing down your goals sends a message to your brain that, hey, I have something to do. I have something to do for me, right? So great stuff. I want to encourage you all to, put questions in the chat, because this was just, just chock full of stuff for us to consume here. So,
Arlene, my apologies. Arlene, can you stop sharing so I can spotlight you, please? Thank you.
All right. So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, but I do have some pre-submitted questions for Arlene. So Arlene, the first question is around goal setting. Are vision boards a good goal setting tool?
Right. So vision boards are great, but it's the beginning. Vision boards are the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's the beginning of your process. The vision board is not the be all and the end all. You don't just put up a vision board, and that's what a lot of persons do. And at the end of the year or the end of the period, they wonder, okay, why have I not achieved any of these things? It's not a wishing well. It's a reminder, that you have these things to do. And as Fleur said, it sends a signal to your brain when you have the goals written down. So you want to achieve a particular goal, you write it down step by step, your process, then you have your performance, and then your outcome. So vision boards are a great tool, but it's the start of the process.
I'm going to add myself to the spotlight real quick because I think Fleur's mic is just needing to be unmuted for a little bit, Arlene. But we do want to continue and move on with some of the questions that we did have for you as well. Let me get that. See? Gotta love technology. Okay. Can you effectively work on more than one goal at a time?
Yes, you can. Caveat, if the goals are in line with the same outcome, if it's within the same process. We often talk about our ability as women to multitask. I have a little spoiler this evening. We cannot multitask. What we do is we switch from one thing to the next very quickly. So we go back and forth, and it seems as though we're multitasking. So within the whole goal setting and the goal setting framework or goal achievement framework, we can have more than one thing going at a time along the same continuum. Because what is going to happen is, if you can have a goal of losing weight and have a goal of dealing with your business, but the key factor in there is time management. And that's another presentation all by itself. You have to be able to manage your time. Otherwise, you'll become frustrated, because when you're supposed to be working on your business, you need to go to the gym and you're thinking, okay, I need to work on the business, so I'll leave off the gym today. But you need to be able to time manage. Yes, multitasking is a myth.
Yes, I saw somebody said it's a myth. Definitely a myth, right? We try to do it, but we just, I like how you put just moving from one thing to the other.
One thing to the
That's
other.
what we're really doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the last question for you, Arlene, is what would you say makes goal setting easier? What can make it easier for us?
Two things. When you say making it easier, comes to mind: an accountability partner or a coach. An accountability partner or a coach. And let me give the difference. An accountability partner is someone that you will be going to, and they will say, Arlene, did you read 10 minutes for the day? And I'll say, yes, I read 10 minutes for the day. The coach is the one who is going to tell you, here's what. How are we going to get to reading to 20 minutes a day? Because the coach is the person that always pushes you to do a little more. And they're going to say, okay, so you're reading 10 minutes a day. So here's what we need to do. We need to try to read 10 minutes in the morning, and let's try 5 more in the evening. And then we increase over time. So your accountability partner receives the information and says, good job, and encourages you to keep going, while the coach is the one that pushes you further along to your goals.
Oh, great advice. Great advice, Arlene. Thank you so much for an amazing presentation about goal setting. We definitely took some really great notes and great nuggets. So thank you so much. Fleur, I just wanted to make sure I can unmute you. Let's make sure that you are good to go. Or you may have to join us back and I can host us until you get back. Yeah, no worries, no worries. So let me remove.
There's a question in the chat. There's a question in the chat.
Go ahead with the answer. Go ahead.
Right. It says, am I always setting goals I'm always setting goals, but I fall off by the wayside very often. What are some of your strategies for consistency? And I just said it. That is it. One of the strategies you can use is an accountability partner. Depending on the goal, you could reward yourself. You could use my jar, my jar system. But an accountability partner, or if you think you're always setting goals and falling off the wayside, maybe you need a coach. And I know coaching is a new thing in the Caribbean context, but I have had coaches and it has been very, very helpful. You may need a coach or an accountability partner if you find yourself falling off the ladder or falling off the wagon very often. Yeah.
Great advice. Great advice. Thank you, Arlene, so much for an amazing presentation. And hopefully, our audience members have put down some great nuggets between networking and goal setting. Wait till you hear what Raina has to tell us later on in her presentation. But thank you again, Arlene, so much. And everyone is saying thank you, and they loved your presentation.
Just have one more thing here that I want to do before, because as you said, I've been right. So I want to be able to share my contact information is on the slide.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
Can you drop that in the chat for us, please, Arlene? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Okay,
So I
perfect.
will drop it in the chat, and so you can go on. And I usually do a lot of paying it forward stuff, so you can get more information. And you could always shoot me a message, and I'm willing to answer your question. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me this evening and being very, very attentive. Thank you.
Thanks, Arlene. Perfect. So what is an event without some entertainment, right? We're not just going to educate you this evening. We're going to provide some entertainment as well. So I have the esteemed pleasure of introducing Mr. Anselm Douglas, who is going to be giving us a cappella song, ladies. Listen, I found a gentleman, I'm gonna add him with me, who wanted to come into our event this evening and sing us a melody. So, Mr. Anselm Douglas, please introduce yourself to us and the song that you're going to be singing for us. And we thank you so much for joining us this evening on International Women's Day celebration. And you can unmute yourself, sir.
Should unmute myself.
There
Can you
you
hear me
go.
now?
I can hear you. All yours,
Can you
sir.
hear me now? Hear me? Okay, good. So, thank you so much for inviting me and having me. I was just scanning through all the individuals on the chat, and I realized I'm the only guy here. So I feel very privileged and very important this afternoon to be the only man among so many beautiful women. Thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed that presentation, and I have a lot of things to take away. As someone in my own business and the business of entertainment, and there's a saying, there's no business like show business. And I've been in show business now for the better part of 40 years. So there was some stuff that I think I could definitely apply to my everyday approach to my business, which is entertainment, performing. So let me say a little bit about myself. My name is Anselm Douglas, and I am a singer, songwriter, and children's author. So I have a song here that you are going to be the first to hear it. So I don't even have music for this song, all right? So I'm going to have to do this a cappella. The name of the song is You Got It In You. And I think it might be the most appropriate song that I have. I'm not too much in the habit of doing other people's work. Not that I have a problem with it. I just think I have so much work that I can find something within my own catalog to do. So the name of the song is You Got It In You, and I would like to do it a cappella for you. I was actually contemplating doing it as a poem, but then Let me try and just sing it for you, all right? There are times when life will drive you to the ground, when a friend just can't be found, and you're out here on your own. There are times when you have no more tears to cry, still your problems amplify, and you're asking yourself why. And there are times when you can't bear the weight and the logic you can't grasp, but have faith, yeah, have faith, 'cause this too shall pass. Whoa, 'cause you got it in you to rise to the top. You were born a winner. Don't you ever stop. Give yourself a chance, 'cause chances are no one else will. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the hill. Oh, yeah. Life has taken all and still demanding more. But of this you can be sure. With faith you will endure. The darkest hour means dawn is just in sight. You'll make it through the night. Yeah, it will be all right. And when the storm is past, you'll look behind, see it die in your wake. Just have faith. Yeah, have faith. 'Cause you were born great. Oh, 'cause you got it in you to rise to the top. You were born a winner. Don't you ever stop. Give yourself a chance. Chances are no one else will. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the hill. 'Cause you got it in you to rise to the top. You were born a winner. Don't you ever stop. Give yourself a chance. Chances are no one else will. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on the hill. Keep your eyes on the hill. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed.
Listen, I am trying to spotlight myself back to you, but I was enjoying the song. Thank you for singing it for us a cappella. This is, please, I'm about to say ladies and gentlemen, but you are the only gentleman, right? So, ladies, please put your round of applause in the chat. Thank Mr. Anselm Douglas so much. We have been privileged to be the first ones to hear this song this evening. We cannot wait for you to put some lyrics to this. Not lyrics, I'm sorry, music, melody to this, right? And we will definitely be supporting you as well. But we want to thank you so much for joining us this evening for your positive message. All of the ladies in the audience is saying thank you, giving you rounds of applause, and everything was absolutely perfect. So thank you for singing that for us this evening. Would you like to leave a message, of course, for the ladies, since you're the only gentleman here? Let's hear from you and giving us some encouragement as women.
I've always believed that women, you're the backbone of society. A lot of people don't grasp that, and they don't understand it in totality. But the woman has always been the backbone of society, and I always say, as women go, so does society. So when you look at what's going on now with, and I can only speak for Black women because I'm a Black man. I am seeing where I had the opportunity to go to a university graduation, and when I look in the lines, I'm only seeing women graduating, women moving forward, women opening, and I'm sure statistics will attest to what I'm saying here, that women are, especially Black women, you guys are opening businesses, you're doing your thing. And as a brother, I am really extremely proud of you guys. And it's not an easy thing just let's pretend that you're not a woman in business. Let's pretend that you are a regular housewife. That is not an easy job. To raise a family, to take care of kids and nurture and nurse, and that in itself is not an easy job. And most of you probably have a family also while handling your own business as an entrepreneur, as as your go-getters. And I don't know where you find time within that 24 hours to juggle everything and keep everything together. But may God continue to bless all of you and continue to give you the strength, because most men won't say this, but I know I am nothing without you. And you know who said that too? God. Because God saw me in the Garden of Eden and realized that you're good, but you're good. I ain't gonna lie, you're good. You're good. But you know what? I'm going to put you in a sleep and I'm going to prepare a woman for you. In Proverbs, I think it is, or in Songs of Solomon, it said, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So if I'm not a Bible thumper walking around like that, but I think if the Bible says it, then there is truth in it, that the woman is who completes me. And I am grateful for all you guys. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm not going to get into a sermon here now.
No.
I am grateful to all of you and admire all of you. And I encourage all of you to just forge ahead, push forward, and blaze the trail. Blaze the trail.
Blaze
all right?
the
Thank you
trail.
so very much for having me. I am afraid I have to jump out.
Yes, absolutely.
God
Well,
bless you
thank
all.
you for your time. Yes, absolutely. Everyone is saying God bless you, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so very much. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, what a song. What a such an uplifting song for this event. And we thank Mr. Anselm Douglas for, of course, our ears are the first ones to hear it, right, guys? So we get to celebrate that as well. So thank you so much for the words of encouragement and for the melodies and a perfect song to match our event this evening. So I am getting ready to pass the baton, so to speak, to Reina. She is going to be talking to us about marketing our business, right? So we learned about networking for success. Then we learned about setting goals. Right? Arlene taught us about setting goals for success. And now Reina is going to wrap it all up for us and talk about marketing our business as well. So Reina, unfortunately, please introduce yourself when you come up, because due to tech, oh, I see my host join back, right? I don't have your bio, but of course, please introduce yourself, and you can jump right into your presentation because I'll share that screen with you, okay?
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having a really good time. Everything is connecting so nicely. We spoke about the networking, and this is really fantastic because, oh, I didn't introduce myself. Sorry.
Go ahead, yes.
So I am Reina Henry. I am a media manager at a reputable advertising agency for the past 16 years. I've been on both sides. I've worked for media houses, and then I've worked at the advertising agency. My specialization is in media strategy and marketing and analytics and everything to get the branding and visibility of a company
Reina,
out there.
sorry, sweetheart. Do me a favor. You can definitely remove the background because you're fading into my background, right? So it's okay what's behind you at this point. I know we did it for branding purposes, but yes, we want to definitely hear you more than we saw your background.
Yes. Well, you guys could look at the younger Reina here.
There you go.
It's easier.
And in the meantime, I'll share screen so your presentation picks up everything else for us.
Yes.
Okay? All right, cool. But go ahead.
So that's me in a nutshell. I'm everything media and marketing, and I've loved doing it all my life. The passion is incredible because what makes you feel so good is when you see your work out there and the execution to your media strategy. So today I will walk you through some quick tips that will definitely help when you get to that stage of planning for your business. I would just like to place a little emphasis on the networking events, which were points that were mentioned earlier, which is fantastic because when you go to these events, you represent your company and you represent yourself because you have to now think of yourself as a brand. So you get into the room and you present yourself with confidence and you're selling you. Then we spoke about having goals. And this is definitely a step in the right direction because once you have your goals, you're now able to strategize to achieve these goals. So the agenda is pretty straightforward and it's understanding your media strategy and your business goal, target audience. I see I have traditional there as the third point, but the expression is going to be around combining traditional and new media now in 2025. And of course, touching a little bit on public relations because it goes well simultaneously when your strategy is being rolled out. Content and creation and engagement. And of course, one very important element of the strategy, your budgeting and analytics. So what is your media strategy? A media strategy is a plan that outlines how to use different types of media. We're exposed to traditional media, we're exposed to new media, we're exposed to innovative media, guerrilla marketing, out of home. We in Trinidad, we have a variety of different channels in which we can get our messages out there. There are regional territories, like for example, Barbados, they don't really, as a tourist nation, want to have too many billboards that clutter their area. In Trinidad, we are allowed to have our billboards and everything. So that's your strategy. It's a guide. It's what is going to happen. What is your next steps? It focuses on choosing the right channels, the right audience, and the best timing to achieve specific goals, such as increasing awareness or driving sales. So what is your business goal? And I heard the word SMART earlier, and it's definitely a guide for anyone in business to follow through when you're planning your business goals. A business goal is a clear, measurable objective that a company seeks to achieve within a set time. It helps direct business efforts and track success. Examples include boosting sales, growing market share, or enhancing customer satisfaction. So once you follow the guideline of SMART, which is specific, measurable, attainable, you give yourself realistic goals and you set a timeline so that you can monitor your progress. We can go to the next slide. Understanding your target audience is so critical to your plan. This could either make your plan effective or make your plan very weak. So as a business owner, you have to understand the people or your tribe that you are trying to connect with. Because in 2025, we are trying to make authentic connections and engagement with people. So you look at your target audience. If your business is targeting 18 to 45, you try to understand more about them, their characteristics, gender, their location, interest, or behavior. Now, in the agencies, we are afforded data from different suppliers. So this guides us into this is exactly what this person is like, this person's interest. And now coming along with digital penetration, it is even much better because we now have real-time analytics. So it gives us some more insight into what people like. We can look at their comments, we can understand who they are, what they're looking for. And it's really about getting everything that you can find via research data to understand who you're going to connect with. So that's really your first step. Once you understand your people, you start to think about how am I going to reach these people? What channels are they more likely to be engaging on? In Trinidad right now, the media landscape is one that has been transforming tremendously into that digital realm. And it is tremendous now because you find there's been a reduction in the engagement with print because you now have the print online. You could have subscriptions and you could read your paper online. So what we have seen, print has been closing in somewhat, but not losing its credibility because it all depends on how you use your channels. So for example, if you decide on going for print, it may be losing that engagement. But if you're doing a multi-channel campaign, then it becomes part of the rollout. So understanding your channels and the characteristics that you can achieve from each channel and maximize on is also important to understand. Your budget. Your budget sometimes depends on if you're having a launch, you may have a big budget. If you are maintaining after a launch, then there are different styles of planning media that can be beneficial. And those would be things like flighting. You may have alternative days, or if you have a really big budget and you have consistency throughout the campaign, that's also things that you will have to decide based on what budget you have to put out. Your content is always very, very important, just as understanding your target, your budget, because now your messages have to be channeled based on your target audience, as well as very much fitting for the channels that you choose. So match channels to your content formats. Reach and engagement. We spoke about having goals and objectives. And within the media, you have to decide, is this a reach campaign? Am I trying to reach a lot of people, or am I looking for frequency? Frequency is really how many times you're able to rotate your communications so that people engage with it and they actually understand what you are putting forward. So reach and engagement. Timing, of course, is important depending on what your product is and when your launch is. So you build a roadmap for your company and you map out what products or what communication would mean the most to you during the year. So we say seasonal. So for Carnival, we will probably have a bigger budget because a lot of people are engaging. You have Christmas. So in that sense, measurability is very, very important. And what we have seen lacking in Trinidad and in the Caribbean, we talk a lot about data-driven schedules, but we also find media houses sort of pulling back a little because sometimes when a survey is done, and they find that their radio station or their print didn't receive the kind of attention, it becomes a little bit of a challenge for them, because now the media planner has to take this data, scrutinize it, and make the selections accordingly. So a radio station might think that they have this very big listenership, but if the data comes back showing that it is not as effective, then my job is to pull from the data, based on my experience, make a judgment on whether I still want to include the station, because you have to have a rationale of why you select certain things. So the measurability on traditional media still needs to have some work done, but there are mechanisms that you can track some of these things, and it's by putting QR codes into print ads. And if people scan these codes, you're able to track where the engagement came from. And now with digital and having this real-time data to literally everything you post, or it makes it a lot simpler for an individual trying to get their message out there, because you're now able to say, okay, I posted this video and I now have 8,000 people. I have 500 shares. I can go to the comments and I can get some feedback, real-time feedback, which allows me now to either change my campaign look and feel, or say to myself, this communication is working. Let me add more budget to it and see what type of results we can get. Combining traditional and new media. This is very critical, depending again on what is your product and what is your goals and your budget, of course. Now, when you have a multi-channel campaign, you are, of course, going to be reaching individuals on print and radio, because you may probably have a mass market product. So you want to not leave a target audience out. You want to still at least be able to have some presence there to still draw people in and actually drive traffic to your website. So broader reach. Digital targets global, traditional focuses on local. Brand consistency. So you're able to reinforce the message across platforms. Cross promotion. Drive traffic between both media types. So radio and billboards, if you notice, work very well together, because sometimes you'll be driving down the street, down the road, going wherever you're going, and you connect with the radio commercial. And sometimes it's so nice when you pass, you hear the commercial, and then you're like, oh my gosh, there's the billboard as well. So you make that further connection along your journey, which we call the customer journey. We track that. When you have your target audience, you're able to track your day in the life of your target audience, and you're now able to purchase and buy media spaces that is most critical to these individuals. And of course, you want to be able to track all your digital analytics, and this is going to help you, of course, move forward with your campaign or be able to change things. And strategic timing, use traditional for broad announcements and digital for targeted engagements. So the bottom line is combining traditional with new media works very well, because you're able to touch and engage a wide audience of persons. If you do not have a very big budget, you're now going to have to be even more targeted and strategic. And most times you will find this using digital channels. And the digital penetration in Trinidad is very, very big, and it's growing. And TikTok is even growing faster. There was one time TikTok was more for young persons. They would come and they would do their videos, and adults have literally taken over TikTok, but it's a very viable channel because this is where your audience lives. They're creating content. They're just looking for something to read. So you have to know your target audience again and what type of content you're going to be putting out there. Never underestimate public relations because it adds credibility to your campaign. You go in on the morning shows and you're able to express and sell your product to an audience that is attentive in the morning period. So you do these morning interviews. If you want to stretch it and it's a product that you can speak to via a radio interview, you do that. And you get as much of these public relation segments where you're also able to gain content, authentic content, because you can then take your interview off of the morning show and you can post that on your social media channels, and individuals can now engage with this content, learn more of what you would have said about your product during the morning shows. And it just keeps sharing and you start building that engagement with your people. Engagement strengthens relationships with key stakeholders and, of course, cost effective. Now in 2025, there is a small budget attached because media houses are now preparing public relations packages. If you are a client that has consistent marketing on their channels, they're flexible to give you free interviews and try to assist you along the way. So cost-effective storytelling, which of course creates emotional connections with audiences. And of course, we know content is king. Content is king because depending on what you put out into or on your social media platforms, you're able to see how people are responding. So back in the days, static content worked. But now what gets the most attraction and the more shares and the more engagement are videos. Storytelling is very big because it brings the audience into your world, and authenticity is very critical when you're producing stuff for online. Because depending on the product that you're selling, you obviously want to be relatable. You want it to be, you don't want to put fake promises out on your product. You want to ensure that you have strategic content that aligns with your goals, with your morals as the business owner. So content is very, very important, and you have tons of formats to use. Videos, responsive banners, carousel ads, and the list goes on. There's a lot of formatting that's available now, and you try to maximize on many of them on the platforms. Now we have stories and we have WhatsApp groups, and content is king. So you have to understand your target audience so you know what you're developing for them to engage with your product or your business and service. Here are a couple engagement strategies. Social media. You can do polls, you can do question and answers. Live works very well because you're able to have discussions with persons, share comments, get a lot of views, and user-generated content. Email marketing, personalize, offer exclusive deals, and segment lists. So within your business, you are collecting data to create your personal space. So you have your phone numbers, you have the emails. So you're now able to connect with your people via an SMS. which you want to make it exciting. They get an SMS and then you can click on the link and it's taking you to an inspirational short video, or it tells you more about the product, but you want to make it relatable and not boring and very rigid. Your email blast. You collect a database, you have new products, you can blast this out, and it's not a very expensive channel. So you're trying to pull from owned media, which you create for your small business, as well as have these things run simultaneous with paid media. So owned media is your user-generated content, your social media platforms, anything that's owned under the company. And then, of course, you have the paid media that you run to get that extra push for the product. Your websites and blogs and all of these things are very popular now. Individuals are looking for spaces where influencers share different information with them. Although my client did a recent research piece on influencers, and what we saw was a lot of people really wasn't believing what some of these influencers were pushing, because we all know it's sometimes a very paid promotion by the influencer. So it was actually a financial institution that did the research and found that people don't take some influencers very serious, because they think like, oh, you were just paid to do this. YouTube, people listening to the music, there's the opportunities of having pre-roll ads. You're able to segment by music as well. If you have a young product, you know the music that they listen to. So you're able to select how you target and position yourselves. A lot of podcasts have been doing pretty well since in COVID, and getting even better now. And it's also a space I heard earlier we were talking about, well, okay, if there's not a network, something, you create your workshop. You create your workshop and get people in, and you create your own media spaces as well, because you can now go live. So podcasts have been doing pretty well, because a lot of people are looking for their tribe, and they want to comment, and they want to feel a part of something bigger. So you have the opportunity, of course, of going on interviews on these podcasts. Again, you take every piece of content that you can, and you use it to post and boost and interact and inform and engage. LinkedIn is doing pretty well as well for paid campaigns, because then again, once you understand your target audience, you will know if, okay, my target audience is really a Facebook, or they're just an Instagram, or they're just TikTok, or I have a professional audience and I want to engage there. But you cannot take for granted that the professional target audience does not have a downtime. So you want to try to spread your budget across where you still connect with them when they are relaxed. Budgeting and analytics. Budget is very, very important, because if my client comes to me and say, Rina, I have a really small budget, I, as the media person, I have to give you something that is going to maximize your budget and ensure that we achieve the goals that you want. So I know, okay, I can't go on all these channels, but I can definitely look for the most effective one, and I can have my presence felt there. You have a big budget, depending on your goals. If it's a mass market, you can engage all channels. But the biggest deal for me is, once you understand your target audience, you can then decide the most effective channels. And it's just a matter now of monitoring the measurements. And of course, I heard about return on investment. Every client wants to know, that the media that they're putting out is actually bringing in some of the sales and pushing conversion rates. When we measure or when we do a schedule, you probably more than likely wouldn't be doing this. But when we have clients like KFC, for example, which I've worked on for over 10 years doing their marketing and media, you have to justify to a bigger body why you're selecting this. So then you run into things like cost per thousand, how much you're paying to reach 1,000 persons. And then you have to line each channel up and you have to explain to the client why we need to be here and why we can take the budget from this channel and bump this channel up. So we have tons of metrics that we use also, but you can rely on your social media analytics and engagements. Once this is done, adjusting the strategy, of course, is based on the data that you're monitoring on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on how long your campaign is. So I'm open for questions, comments.
Yes. Reina, we actually have two questions in the chat, and I want to make sure that we address that. The first question is, what are some of the tools we can use to track customer reactions and interactions?
On your social media pages, you're tracking the shares. You're going through the comments. You're collating information, really. You can now do a comparison between you and if you want to look at a competitor because you're exposed to all of this information. So it's really tracking your engagements and your shares and understanding your comments. If you decide to do the live, then you have an actual person that's expressing something to you. And all these are ways of tracking your engagement.
Wonderful. I believe we have a second question in the chat, and that is, would you suggest having separation between marketing and public relations in a business?
I would say everything has to work in synergy. When you start to have different categories of your campaign operating in silos, there's somewhat of a disconnect. So we try to have everything in synergy. And I believe once you're able to achieve this, your exposure is much easier. So, for example, you have your paid campaign running and everybody is seeing your nice print ads and they're hearing your radio and everything. But simultaneous, then they see you on a morning show that, gives you that PR perspective. And they see a person in front of them selling and discussing, and they're able to now see if or feel that authentic. So everything runs in synergy within your campaign. Of course, you'll have the flow map and the flow chart, so you can then demonstrate, okay, we will start with paid media this week, and then we will put in the credibility aspect of the product in the next week. But I would say not separate it and have everything run in synergy, because it's one goal, it's one overall goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Reina. Thank you for just some practical insights into marketing strategies and just around media branding and building your brand awareness and creating stories to express, what your brand is. It is, I would say it's part of culture now to have the ability to storytell and to storytell in a short amount of time, right? As we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. Then we're creating stories in those snippets, and it's being able to massage that muscle and create those storytelling, building those storytelling skills that would help us along the way as well. So I know that we're close to the closing time. I don't want to spend too much time, sharing notes, but I do want to say thank you to Dr. Nadia Monsanto, Mrs. Arlene Hamlin Paul, and Rena Avion Henry. I so much great stuff that you shared this evening, and I'm sure that our audience was inspired by the content that you shared. So appreciate your time and appreciate what you shared. Also want to say thank you to Anselm Douglas for his amazing interlude. Unfortunately, I was not around to hear it, but I am going to look back at the recording. And thank you, audience, for the patience with the technical difficulties, but also for you sharing in the chat. Any questions to the speakers? Definitely, some time that was spent that was really worthy of us just coming together. So with that, I want to pass the mic over to Avril Phillips Bernard to deliver a powerful call to action for us and close us off for this evening. Avril?
Good evening, everyone. And thanks again, as Fleur said, thanks again for joining us, WRAPTT, for our Women's History Month celebration. As we reflect on the very valuable insights shared today on strategic networking, key strategies for goal setting, and media strategy tips, let's remember that true empowerment comes from action. Each of us has the power to drive change, to lift each other up, and to accelerate the momentum towards a future where every woman and girl can thrive. But it doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we connect, collaborate, and commit to making a difference, whether that's in our own businesses directly impacting our clients, whether it's in our greater careers, our communities, or the world at large. Now, as we close this webinar, I want to challenge each of us to take what we've learned today and put it into action. So pick 3 networking action items and commit to doing them this coming week. Not a month from this week, but this coming week. Set a goal that scares you and establish a system to accomplish it. And amplify your authentic voice. Share your brand through the right channels to your right target audience and at the right time. And as you take steps to implement your learnings from today's event, presented by our very own WRAPTT members, I want to invite you to become a WRAPTT member, to join the Women's Roundtable Action platform of Trinidad and Tobago, to link arms with us around our mission of empowering women and girls to achieve their full potential. Ladies and gentlemen, the time for waiting is over. I heard it said over and over, action, do it, start now. And I, again, want to invite you to join WRAPTT's Women on the Rise, resourceful, invested, selfless, and empathetic servant leaders who are passionate about making a difference. So there should be a link that's been placed in the chat, or you can visit our secure website at wraptt.org for more details, more information on WRAPTT and how you can become a member. Together, we can forge women's equity. Together, we can accelerate action. Let's do it for all the women and girls of our illustrious Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
And with that, I'd like to say a special thank you to WRAPTT for continuing to empower women and create impactful spaces like this one. So enjoy the rest of Women's History Month, and we will see you soon. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you guys so much. To my WRAPTT leaders, can we just stay back for a few minutes, please? But thank you everyone so much for joining us.